This is a quick tutorial on how to fix your furnace when it breaks. This furnace breaks every year or every other year. When I moved into this house 24 years ago, the first thing that went out was the flame sensor right there. Got it working to make it through the night by taking a piece of Scotch-Brite pad and cleaning that up right there. But anyways, I was so aggravated. See, I'm old school. I'm from the days when you had a thermocoupler and a pilot light. Thermocoupler and a pilot light. What could go wrong, right? Maybe the wind would blow your pilot light out. You had to relight your pilot light. And I don't know, every 20 years the thermocoupler would go out. So I went the next day and I bought every single sensor for this thing and I kept them in stock. And you know, it has saved me more time more than once. Your furnace is going to go out on Saturday night at midnight when it's 10 degrees outside, which it is right now. Some basics. You got this purge motor right here, okay? This is going to blow the air box, blow the combustion chamber out, clear it of any gases before the furnace starts, okay? You got a vacuum. This thing here will pull a vacuum off there to tell if it's going to purge or make sure it's purged, okay? You can't have a broken hose here. You can also get a spider could build a nest in there and mess that up. Okay. Then you got your firebox sensor right there. Then you got this one here, which is an electric eye, and it's a backup. It's a backup to the flame sensor right there, the thing right there. If you get a bunch of white buildup on that, take you a Scotch-Brite pad. I don't recommend sandpaper. Just take a green Scotch-Brite pad and you can clean it up. And to replace it, it's just a screw right there. Next thing is your igniter. There is no pilot light on this furnace. This is what they call energy conserving or economical or whatever. You know, like your car's got to start and stop at a stop light. So you don't have a pilot light burning gas. So that's your basics. And this right here is your gas control valve. My furnace isn't working. Let's see why. We're going to go over here and we're going to turn it on. The first thing that's going to happen when it kicks on is we got to purge the firebox. And I'm not a heating and air guy, so I probably don't have these terms right. The next thing that's going to happen after a delay, and it clears that combustion chamber, is you're going to hear a click right here. And that's where it's going to release the gas that's going to come out of these. We're going to have gas come out of these 5 burners right here. Okay? That's the job of that igniter. Now, about now, that igniter should be glowing red. And as you can see, it's not. And in just a second, you're going to hear a click is this valve body, that gas. Hear it? Now it's releasing gas, but you see it's not igniting. You don't see any blue flames, do you? Now it kicked off because the safety just kicked it off. Safety, the flame sensor just kicked it off since it did not detect the flame, that or that electric eye. And at this point, you can smell natural gas. That is our problem right there. Our igniter right here, that igniter did not glow red at ignite. So we're going to shut it off. And most of these sensors, like that flame sensor, you will see white buildup on it. That igniter. But if you look at it, you will see that it's cracked. Trying to say a lot of this stuff can be just visual. You know, is your igniter cracked? Okay. Is the flame sensor down here covered with a white residue? Do you have any broken wires? Is that hose broken or cracked? But look, guys, I have a spare part. I keep spare igniters and spare flame sensors because these things are going to go out. They're going to break every 3 or 4 years. They're going to go out. And if you pay a heating and air guy to come Saturday night at midnight, you're looking at hundreds of dollars. One of the most important things with this is when you handle an igniter, you better put you on some gloves because the oil off your skin, if you touch this igniter, it will literally ruin it. It's like the old halogen lamps. If you touch it with your bare hands, the oil, I don't know, there's the part number. It's also handy just to have these part numbers, and you can probably buy this on Amazon, fairly inexpensive compared to, but see how delicate the thing is? Comes wrapped in foam. But there you go. Now, if you touch this right here with an ungloved hand, you're going to shorten its life by a long time. So if you read the directions, the igniter surface is fragile and acceptable to contamination. Any kind of contamination should be removed with nitrogen. Never wipe the igniter by hand or with a cloth, as this may further contaminate the surface. All right. So let's get our heat running. It's getting cold in here. To replace this is fairly simple. We have 2 screws right there and right there and 1 wire connection. That's it. So I don't know if I can get a camera in here. So one of the first things you need to do is to remove the wiring harness. And all you have to do is either side, there's a tab there and a tab there, and you just squeeze them just like that to undo that. I don't know if any of this is going to show up, guys. It's like impossible for me to get a camera in there. And then the lighting. All right, guys, there it is. And if you look, you will see there's a physical crack right there. Look at it on this side. See that right there? See that right there? See that right there? Right there, there's a crack. So all you have to do is give your furnace a visual inspection and you can fix a lot of these problems. So can you see the crack? Right there, you see it? You see this one, the new one? There's no bracket. So see the old one? See the old one in this metal bracket? Okay, we're gonna have to take this bracket off and put on the new one. Okay, if you get you a 1/4 inch nut driver, it's going to be a lot better than using a screwdriver for this. But you're just going to get right in there. So you want to look for this tab right here. Put the new one is going to lock into that tab. And even though that I'm wearing gloves, I want to try and not touch this because I now have dust on my hands from being inside of that furnace. And the instruction, maybe these are why, maybe my house is too dusty and that's why I'm getting premature failure. I don't know. I just know that these things don't last, but it was trying to twist on me. There's a reason for that groove, and it's all about maintaining the proper angle for it to ignite. See, that'll be much easier to put on. And the connection, like I showed you, all you got to do is squeeze this right here. Once again, I don't know how well you're going to see. It's so tight in here. Don't over tighten these, don't strip them because you're just going into sheet metal, right? See, this one here's the one I had a lot of trouble with. The right one because I couldn't get a screwdriver in there straight. Now we hook our hook our connector back up. And it is keyed, it only goes one way. Okay, now. So that's keyed, one area is flat, the other straight. So now we're going to come over here and turn the power on, and I bet you the furnace will work. This is why you need to know how to self-diagnose your furnace and have spare parts. So when it's 10 degrees outside and it's Saturday at midnight, you can get heat back on, because it is going to fail. All right, gonna kick the power on. First thing that's gonna happen is this is gonna kick on. Purge the system, pull a vacuum on this. That's gonna be told there. Now, before the gas can kick on there, that igniter, there it goes. See it, guys? We fixed the furnace. Now at a certain point, the valve body is going to kick on and spray the natural gas. Any second now. What are we waiting on? It's blinding me. There we go. And now it should go off. Now the flame sensor, I see the flame sensor's in the flames right there. And that's what keeps it running. The flame sensor and that electric eye. Now we have heat. The wife will be happy. So there you go guys. That will fix 90%. Those are going to be your two most common failures on a furnace, is the flame sensor and the igniter. All right, have a good day.